My guest tonight is one of Australia's leading columnists. Andrew Bolt grew up in rural South Australia and stepped into journalism with a cadetship at Melbourne's broadsheet, The Age. Andrew worked for Labor during 2 of Bob Hawke's election victories before he landed his break as a columnist at News Corp.
Thank you, Andrew.
He is now watched, listened to and read by millions of Australians every week. And there's barely a person in this country who doesn't have an opinion on one of Australia's most prolific opinionators.
He proclaims loudly that he is a friend of the government. Well, with friends like Bolt, we don't need any enemies.
You would describe yourself as a conservative, would you, Andrew?
Absolutely, the only place to be.
Would you please welcome Andrew Bolt?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, mate.
Let's start there with the conversation with Kevin Rudd. Why is being a conservative the only way to be?
That's the best I could think of at the time. No, it's a disposition, isn't it? It's not so much a philosophy. It's like value what is good and realise that when people are proposing change, it's almost never as perfect as they promise it will be. Things always go wrong. But I mean, I'm not against progress. I think you need to change. You need always to reform. Things always can be better than they are. But I don't trust the revolution above evolution. I just think you've got to remember what you've got was hard won. If it works, and what will replace it, say some, may not work. So just be suspicious, that's all. You've got to test things.
So it's just broadly suspicion?
Yeah,
a conservative mindset is just broadly suspicious.
Well, there's 2 ways of looking at it. You know, someone who's a progressive will say that's suspicion, that's a dull view of life. But the other way to look at it is to love what you have. What you've got is sometimes worth appreciating, isn't it?
So much of the discourse in Australia are people in their camps just lobbing grenades at each other. And it doesn't
Which
feel...
is fun.
Right. Well, then that's my question, because I don't feel like that gets us anywhere.
Well, look, yes and no. And don't forget, if you don't argue the toss on an idea, bad ideas get through, right? You've got to have an argument. Unless you have an argument, you don't know whether something's been properly tested. True or not? We're having an argument right now.
Well, this is an argument. I've not yet begun to argue it. This is a conversation between...
I've seen that on the TV, that skit. Yeah, no, but the point is, what scares me is when everyone says, let's have a consensus. Let's have a consensus, no argument, national interest, blah, blah. When both sides agree is when you realise, or when you should be suspecting that they're trying to pull one over you without things properly being debated. Debate shouldn't hurt anyone because if it's a good idea, it'll survive. And if it's a bad idea, don't you want it exposed to the world?
So do you think that through your writing that you change people's minds?
I think that's wildly overstated. Because if I thought I'd change people's minds, why is Malcolm Turnbull Prime Minister? I mean, I didn't want that.
Maybe you didn't change enough minds, Andrew. Maybe
I'm working at it
Maybe
now.
you were one blog short.
Yeah, look, I don't know, how often has it been where you've had a really passionately held view on one thing and you've read a newspaper column and you've thought, now I think the exact opposite. People aren't like that.
So then why do what you do?
What am I going to do? Sit in front of a TV screen and throw pillows at it because I'm so furious? I may as well go and write a blog or a column.
So it comes from a place of anger or frustration? Or...
Oh, you jumped on that. Or sometimes I see.
Well, you said you were throwing pillows at a TV, Andrew.
There's a poor person and he needs my help or she needs my help and I'm going to offer succour. I also feel that.
Right.
I don't know that I change many opinions, but what I might do is change a few opinions. Maybe they're the ones that count. Tony Abbott got up by 1 vote. Maybe they're the ones that count. Or what I think is much more likely is that there's a lot of people out there, in my case at least, they don't find many people in the media that share their views.
That's the Richard Nixon idea of the silent majority.
Why am I Richard Nixon suddenly?
No, well, it's his quote. He referred
Dalai
to
Lama, maybe.
No, he referred to the silent majority and said that he was representing a group that weren't represented and maybe he gave voice to them.
You look at the dominance of the media, without a doubt. If you went to a meeting of the Journalists' Union and mentioned my name, I'm not sure you're going to get a round of applause, are you?
Well, I'm not sure.
No,
I've never been to the meetings.
Well, look, you've been in the comedy festival, right?
Oh, you'll get a round of applause mentioning your name at a comedy festival.
No. I know where I featured in the comedy festival, and you know too.
No, absolutely.
Okay, and along with Tony Abbott, Donald Trump, the same thing. That's what I'm saying. There's a groupthink mentality, and I'm not saying it's me versus the rest. I'm just saying it's a minority. It just happens to be one of the curses of the writing classes. They've tended to be of the left, and there are people out there a long way from microphones that say, "Well, what about our opinion?"
Well, thank God you give them a voice, Andrew. in your
It's
blog,
not actually my role.
in your blog and your print column and on radio, and now you are going to have a 5-night-a-week TV show on Sky News beginning on April 25th.
I'm taking over the world, mate. Yes,
That's
Sky
right.
News on Anzac Day.
Because there's just such a lack of platform for conservative views.
Well, perhaps it's a lack of people to fill all those platforms. I've got to fill them all.
Right. So damn it, we've got too many platforms, too many opportunities, not enough bolts.
Next year, mate, on the comedy festival, you and me.
Yeah.
All right, I've got to dominate that one as well.
Hang on, wait. We're not even done yet, but I will hold you to that. Like,
That was a joke, actually.
No, that was a joke. And we are away. No, would you do a show with me at the Melbourne Comedy Festival?
I don't do jokes. I do very serious. I can be a straight man.
You can just do the talking, and I can do plenty of jokes.
No, that's the bit that worries me.
What we can have, we can
do
we can
righteous
split the tickets.
indignation.
Righteous indignation is hilarious, particularly when you do it. And and we can sell half the tickets to the writing classes and half to the silent majority. And we can have a nice mixture of the audience.
How do I win there? The silent majority won't clap.
And you tell me you don't do jokes.
Oh, sorry, mate. Thanks for writing that one for me.
Well, on the topic of comedy, politics, we are in an election year. How do you think Malcolm's going?
Yes, he is going, yes.
But so obviously you've been very critical of Malcolm.
Well, I have, but you got to divide it into two, right? One is what I think would be good for the country, or what sort of values I'd like to see advanced, versus whether the Liberals will win or lose, right? That's a different metric. He was initially good in that the vote went up, although now it's not looking such a flash proposition because it's evens, and I think he'll probably go down further. So put that to one side. But as a Conservative, I'm thinking, where's the voice of Conservatives in the political process when the sort of so-called Conservative Party doesn't have a Conservative leading in it? Leading it. It's like, how do we get to advocate change when we don't have a voice in the political process? So from my point of view, I'd rather have someone more conservative leading it, but that's just me.
You often will write a blog post about an appearance on a television show after you've done it. Have you got any ideas for a headline after this one at this stage?
It's already on the blog.
You've already blogged this?
Already blogged it. No, but
so you made up your mind before you got the evidence,
No,
Andrew.
I didn't. You can check it up for yourself. Check it for yourself. No, but I will say that this went. That my wife was wrong. It wasn't an ambush. And
Well, hopefully you'll come back again soon and we can continue the conversation. Andrew Bolt, thank you for your time.
See you later, mate.
Cheers. Andrew Bolt.